Are you Matthew Aldridge?
I'm the attorney of fact for Matthew Aldridge.
You were what?
The attorney of fact.
Attorney what?
Of fact.
Attorney of fact. And what does that mean?
You know, his authorization to do legal representation.
Are you a licensed attorney?
No, I'm simply an attorney of fact.
Okay. And does that mean you have a power of attorney? What is your name? What is...
All right, everyone, today's court hearing was absolutely something else. The person at the center of it, who the paperwork says is Matthew Aldridge, came in trying to argue that he doesn't have a name and called himself the attorney of fact. Now, let's be clear. That's not a real legal term. People like him, often called sovereign citizens, try to argue that the court has no authority over them. But here's the truth. If you're in the court's jurisdiction, the court has power over you. Plain and simple. The judge wasn't buying it for a second and shut it down brilliantly in the end. At one point, this guy handed the judge a paper he claimed gave him the right to represent Matthew Aldridge. But all it did was quote a made-up law that doesn't exist.
Attorney of fact for the respondent in error.
Well, let me explain to you. Only an attorney at law can stand in court and represent a criminal defendant. And to do so otherwise violates the criminal law statutes of the state of Tennessee and could land someone who attempts to represent themselves as an attorney at law in serious trouble. I understand what you're saying. I understand you're saying an attorney in fact. And what I want you to understand is that if you have a power of attorney, then you need to demonstrate that power of attorney. Do you have a legal document called a power of attorney?
No, I do not this time.
Okay. Then you don't have any authority to act on behalf of Matthew Aldridge in this court. You have no legal authority, nor do you have any authority through a legal document to represent or to act on behalf of Matthew Aldridge.
Why don't the court just let me file this document?
Show it to the bailiff and he'll show it to me. Apparently there's a copy here.
Real attorneys have to be licensed by the state and follow strict legal rules. This DIY approach with a random piece of paper just doesn't work. Sovereign citizens like him love to argue about jurisdiction, but the courts operate under real established laws, not ones people invent to suit themselves. The judge was having none of it. The judge handled the situation like a pro. He stayed calm and shut down every argument the guy tried to make. It was clear he wasn't going to waste any time on these false claims.
Well, I find that Matthew Neal Aldridge has failed to appear personally in this court for the plea day on his case, which is set for trial tomorrow. And as a result, you have no standing, sir, under what I know what you're trying to do is to try to use the sovereign citizen approach to this situation. And I'm simply telling you that you do not have the right to represent Matthew Neal Aldridge. If you are in fact Matthew Neal Aldridge, then you need to say so and stop this nonsense, because what you're attempting to do has no legal effect. You cannot challenge the criminal law or the jurisdiction of this court by simply filing some legal mumbo jumbo having to do with civil litigation. That has civil litigation in it. It is not a criminal case that you have cited. So it has no effect on this court regarding the criminal statutes of this court. This court is empowered under the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the state of Tennessee and by the duly elected citizens of Cheatham County to empower and enforce the laws of the state of Tennessee. And that is what I'm going to do regarding Matthew Lynn Aldridge. Mr. Aldridge is set for today to appear in court personally on what we call our last plea day before his trial date tomorrow.
Is that an article 3 trial?
To what?
Will that be an article 3 trial? A trial by jury with jury?
It would be a trial by jury. Certainly it would be. But I don't know who you are. And I don't think you have any authority if you are not Matthew Lynn Aldridge to appear before this court. And you're wasting valuable time to all of these other citizens who are here today. But I'm talking, you stop talking.
Nah.
No, you will when I'm finished talking. You are wasting the court's time by doing this, and I'm just simply instructing you that if you are in fact Matthew Lynn Aldridge, then this is your last day to settle your case. The trial date is set for tomorrow, and unfortunately, it will not go forward because of the fact that I have a conflict and I have to be in Stewart County on a civil matter. So we're going to assign a new trial date for Matthew Lynn Aldridge. All right. To Matthew Aldridge and the individual standing before me whose name must not be uttered.
This judge here is handling this lunatic like an absolute pro. I mean, he's staying calm while shutting him down at every turn here. This guy barely even got a chance to push his attorney of fact nonsense before the judge dismantled it piece by piece here. It seems like the judge kind of took this personally, or that he just has this stuff kind of happen a lot. But especially when the guy started quoting his made-up laws, and I just think it's really funny the judge went in there and said he can't utter his name. That was kind of funny there. Usually you see judges kind of be more stoic and don't show expression, so that was kind of funny to me. But it was clear from the start that this judge was not going to waste any of his time on this circus guy here. But at the end of the day, guys, it just goes to show how ridiculous and pointless these stunts really are.
Then we will set a July 15th trial date for Mr. Aldridge. Whatever this document is that you have filed is in fact invalid because it does not cite any valid criminal statute, and therefore I'm denying whatever that might be in the way of a motion. The trial date will be July 15th. The last day for Mr. Aldridge to enter a plea or go to trial will be July the 8th. July the 8th. Now, we're going to give you a card. If you are in fact Matthew Aldridge and you're just playing games with the court regarding this nonsense that you filed, then you may get this card and you may go on about your business. If you are not Matthew Aldridge, then I would suggest to you, you relay to Mr. Aldridge that he must appear on July the 8th, or a bond revocation will take place, and his case will be will take place with him in jail, incarcerated on the 15th. That's the judgment of the court. You need to take your piece of paper and go.
Claims. And when the guy tried to quote made-up laws, the judge wasn't having it. It was almost funny seeing how quickly and smoothly the judge responded. Usually judges stay pretty serious and neutral, but this one made it clear from the start that nonsense wouldn't be tolerated. The whole sovereign citizen idea is just strange. These are people who believe they can ignore the legal system by saying they don't recognize the government's authority. They often bring up terms like common law or the UCC, Uniform Commercial Code, but completely misunderstand how these laws actually work. Courts operate under federal, state, and local laws that have been in place for centuries, backed by the Constitution. There's no loophole that lets someone just decide the rules don't apply to them. In the end, these arguments waste time and usually just land the person in more trouble. The idea that someone can avoid taxes or dismiss a speeding ticket by using these arguments isn't just false. It can also lead to bigger fines or other penalties for wasting the court's time. It's hard to understand why people keep trying this approach. Maybe they think they're challenging the system, or maybe it's just a form of rebellion. Either way, it's not effective, and frankly, it's a little sad. That's it for today's breakdown. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like and subscribe, and share your thoughts about these sovereign citizen cases in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and take care.